For 10 long years, Japan waited, and now that wait is over. For the first time since World War II, Japanese carrier decks once again roar with the sound of jet engines. The F-35B, the stealth fighter that can rise vertically and vanish from radar, has landed on Japanese soil. This is not just a new aircraft. It is the rebirth of a dream long thought impossible. A dream that turns Japan's maritime self-defense force into something far greater, a true carrier power. With 147 stealth fighters in its arsenal, Japan now commands the second-largest F-35 fleet in the world, second only to the United States. But this raises a question echoing across the Pacific. What does this transformation mean for Asia's balance of power? And why has South Korea, another American ally, fallen behind? When the carrier Izumo officially deploys the F-35B, it marks more than a technical milestone. It marks a strategic revolution, one that will reshape the balance of power across the Western Pacific. To the west, Chinese ships circle near the Senkaku Islands, testing Japan's resolve. To the north, North Korea's missiles streak across the sky, sometimes over Japan itself. And to the south, the Taiwan Strait grows ever more tense. Japan no longer has the luxury of a passive defense. If conflict erupts near Taiwan, it may be impossible for Tokyo to stand aside. To survive, Japan must project power beyond its shores, securing the island chain that stretches from Okinawa to Taiwan, a vital shield for both Tokyo and Washington. When U.S. Marine Corps F-35Bs took off and landed on the Izumo, it wasn't just a test flight. It was a message, a signal to the world. The Izumo can now serve as a supplementary carrier for the U.S. 7th Fleet. If American carriers must withdraw or disperse, Japan can step in, bridging the power gap. But this growing partnership is driven by a greater shadow: the rapid rise of China's Navy. Beijing's massive Type 003 carrier, equipped with electromagnetic catapults and stealth fighters, looms on the horizon. If Japan does not move quickly, the Pacific balance could tilt fast. Tokyo's answer is clear. Two light carriers, Izumo and Kaga, reborn from helicopter destroyers into fully capable F-35B carriers. Inside Japan's shipyards, the transformation was meticulous and bold. The Izumo's flight deck, once meant for helicopters, was stripped, expanded, and reinforced with a new heat-resistant coating, capable of withstanding the F-35B's fiery exhaust. The ship's island structure was shifted, radars upgraded, and massive elevators installed, each strong enough to lift two folded F-35Bs. Inside, the hangar was re-engineered, weapon bays expanded, systems rewired, deck space increased by 25%. Her displacement rose to 2,600 tons. Her operational deck stretched wider and longer. And the Izumo stood reborn, ready for stealth operations at sea. By 2026, her sister ship Kaga will complete the same transformation. At that moment, Japan will once again field a two-carrier strike force, a capability unseen since the Empire's fall in 1945. At the heart of this rebirth lies the F-35B, the world's only stealth jet capable of short takeoff and vertical landing. Its surface absorbs radar waves, its shape bends light and signal into silence. From the front, its radar signature is 1/50th of a Super Hornet's. The F-35Bs delivered to Japan are Block 4 variants, integrating Norway's JSM, a stealth anti-ship missile capable of striking warships from far beyond visual range. Built with corrosion-resistant composites and powered by the F-135 engine with lift fan, the jet can rise vertically from the Izumo's deck, then dart across the Pacific like a ghost. In trials with U.S. forces, the results were extraordinary. With just a 25-knot deck wind, an F-35B needed only 344 feet of runway to lift off, and could land vertically weighing 50,000 pounds, even carrying unused weapons. For Japan, this means a new kind of power. The power to strike anywhere along the first island chain, to project deterrence deep into contested waters. In U.S. Navy plans, the Izumo pairing is called the Alliance Lightning Carrier. It's a concept first tested aboard the USS America, a new way to distribute firepower across the Pacific. During joint exercises in San Diego and the Rim of the Pacific 2024, Japan practiced launching modular mission packages, air dominance, anti-ship, and anti-submarine operations. In one scenario, 12 F-35Bs launched from Izumo, armed with 48 AMRAAM missiles. forming a spear of stealth in the sky. In another, a strike package deployed with JSM cruise missiles, guided by US E-2D Hawkeyes. Their simulated targets were destroyed within a 30-foot margin. The message was unmistakable. Japan and the US can now fight as one, sharing data, sensors, and strikes across a single tactical web. Alone, one Izumo can sustain 24 sorties per day, enough to deliver 144 precision strikes in the first 72 hours of war. That level of power Japan has never had before. So how will Japan's carrier strike group fight? The answer lies in the 1-2-2-1 formation. One Izumo with 12 F-35Bs, 2 Maya-class Aegis destroyers, 2 Akizuki-class multi-mission escorts, and 1 Soryu-class submarine beneath the waves. Together, they can counter 24 enemy aircraft, intercept 12 anti-ship missiles, and hunt 8 submarines, all within a 500-kilometer battle space. At its core, the Maya destroyer's OPS-50 radar detects stealth aircraft at ranges up to 320 kilometers, while Akizuki destroyers form the Close Defense Shield, a 3-dimensional fortress at sea. When the Izumo strike group deploys east of the Ryukyu Islands, it can dominate an airspace spanning over 430 nautical miles. From there, the F-35B can unleash 2 full waves of JSM or JDAM strikes, 48 anti-ship missiles, or more than 100 precision bombs in a single day. But power always has limits. Light carriers can change headlines, but sustaining combat over weeks or months is another matter entirely. The Izumo and Kaga have smaller magazines, limited fuel, and fewer resupply options than the American or Chinese supercarriers. In a prolonged conflict, could they truly maintain sortie rates, or would their strength fade after the first few waves of strikes? Then comes the greatest danger of all: survival. Both ships lie within range of China's long-range missiles. A concentrated barrage could cripple them within minutes. And beyond the hardware lies the human factor. Japan has not operated carrier aircraft in nearly 80 years. Training pilots, deck crews, and maintenance teams for the chaos of sea operations. That will take time. Years, perhaps decades, before full mastery is achieved. But amid Japan's rise, another story unfolds: the fall of a rival dream. South Korea once planned its own light carrier, the CVX project, a ship to rival Izumo, carrying F-35Bs from its deck. Yet that dream has faded. While Japan moved steadily, step by step, Seoul's ambitions stumbled under financial strain and shifting politics. Japan's defense budget grew, from 16 to nearly 20% naval share by 2025. Korea's, meanwhile, declined. Even design differences made the challenge insurmountable. Japan's Izumo was built with future air operations in mind, long, wide, and adaptable. Korea's Indo-Pacific was not. Its hangars too small, its elevators too weak to handle F-35Bs. Retrofitting was nearly impossible. In 2025, Seoul officially suspended the CVX project. The cost, nearly $9 billion for the ship alone, and over $20 billion for a full strike group, was simply too high. For South Korea, the carrier dream was over. For Japan, it had only just begun. By 2026, both Izumo and Kaga will be fully converted. For the first time in modern history, Japan will field 5th-generation fighters at sea, a power no other Asian nation possesses. But this is not the end of the story. It's only the beginning. Analysts predict that Japan's next step will be even greater. True aircraft carriers, 40,000 to 60,000 tons in size, capable of carrying dozens of stealth fighters for extended campaigns. If that vision becomes reality, Japan will no longer stand merely as America's ally, but as a naval power in its own right. Yet with power comes responsibility and risk. As Japan projects strength farther from home, it also steps closer to the front lines of every regional crisis. The world is watching. Is Japan, a nation long defined by peace, ready for this new role? Ready to shoulder the weight of its own defense, and perhaps one day to fight once more on the open seas? The answer is still unfolding. But one thing is certain: after 8 decades of silence, the carriers of Japan have returned. A rising sun once again cast its reflection across the Pacific, and with it, a nation steps back into the tides of history. This is the rebirth of Japan's carrier age.